Have you ever felt torn between doing what's legally right and what's morally right? It's a dilemma that every lawyer faces, but understanding Kant's ethics could be the key to navigating those tough decisions. In today's video, we're going to explore Immanuel Kant's ethical framework and how it can inform our decision-making as legal professionals. Kant's ideas may have been developed over 2 centuries ago, but they remain remarkably relevant to the challenges we face in the legal profession today. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of Kant's key principles and how they can guide your actions in complex situations. Kant's ethics are built around the idea that morality is based on reason, rather than emotion or personal preference. This approach can be particularly useful for lawyers, who often have to make difficult decisions that involve balancing competing interests. Throughout this video, we'll be examining how Kant's ideas can help us navigate these challenges and make more informed ethical decisions. So, let's dive in and explore how Kant's ethics can inform our practice as legal professionals. The categorical imperative is a central concept in Kant's ethics, and it has important implications for legal decision-making. Essentially, the categorical imperative is a moral principle that should guide all of our actions. Kant argues that we should only act according to maxims that could be willed as universal laws. In other words, before taking a particular action, we should ask ourselves whether we would want everyone else to act in the same way in similar circumstances. This principle has important implications for legal professionals because it encourages us to think about the broader consequences of our actions. As lawyers, we're not just representing individual clients, we're also contributing to the development of the legal system as a whole. By considering the universal implications of our actions, we can ensure that we're acting in a way that promotes justice and fairness for everyone. The categorical imperative can also help us to identify and challenge unjust laws or policies. If a particular law or policy is morally wrong, it's unlikely to be something that we would want to see universally applied. By applying the categorical imperative, we can identify these injustices and work towards creating a more equitable legal system. By recognizing the importance of universalizability, we can ensure that our actions are guided by a sense of moral principle, rather than personal interest or expediency. This can help us to build trust with our clients and the wider community, because they know that we're committed to acting with integrity and fairness. Kant's emphasis on moral principles over personal interest can be challenging, because it encourages us to prioritize the greater good over our own self-interest. However, this approach can ultimately lead to a more just and equitable society, where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Duty versus consequence is another key concept in Kantian ethics, and it has important implications for lawyers. Essentially, Kant argues that we should prioritize our duties over the potential consequences of our actions. This means that we should focus on doing what is right, rather than trying to achieve a particular outcome. This approach can be particularly challenging for lawyers, because we're often judged on the outcomes we achieve for our clients. However, by prioritizing our duties over the potential consequences, we can ensure that we're acting with integrity and moral principle. This can help us to maintain our professional independence and avoid being swayed by external pressures or conflicting interests. Kant's emphasis on duty over consequence also highlights the importance of moral character in legal professionals. As lawyers, we have a duty to act with integrity, honesty, and fairness, even when it's difficult or unpopular. By prioritizing our duties over the potential consequences, we can build trust with our clients and the wider community, because they know that we're committed to doing what is right. In practice, this means that we should focus on providing high-quality legal advice and representation, rather than trying to manipulate the system or achieve a particular outcome. By prioritizing our duties over the potential consequences, we can ensure that we're acting in a way that promotes justice and fairness for everyone. Let's consider a few scenarios where Kant's principles can guide our decision-making as lawyers. Imagine that you're representing a client who is accused of a serious crime. The prosecution is offering a plea deal that would involve your client pleading guilty to a lesser charge, but you know that they're innocent. What do? Using Kant's principles, we can approach this situation by considering our duty to act with integrity and fairness. We should prioritize our client's best interests and ensure that they receive a fair trial, rather than trying to achieve a particular outcome or protecting our own interests. Another scenario might involve a conflict of interest between multiple clients. Perhaps you're representing 2 clients who are on opposite sides of a dispute, or you're being asked to do something that would breach confidentiality or compromise your professional independence. In these situations, Kant's principles can help us to prioritize our duties over the potential consequences and make decisions that are guided by moral principle. Kant's principles can also guide our decision-making in more routine situations, such as deciding how to allocate our time and resources. By considering our duties to our clients and the legal system, we can prioritize our work in a way that promotes justice and fairness for everyone. One of the key implications of Kantian ethics for lawyers is the importance of confidentiality and client representation. As lawyers, we have a duty to maintain confidentiality and protect our clients' interests, even when it's difficult or unpopular. This means that we should prioritize our clients' needs over other competing interests, including our own self-interest or the demands of others. Kant's emphasis on moral principle over personal interest can be challenging because it encourages us to prioritize our duties over the potential consequences. However, this approach can ultimately lead to a more just and equitable society, where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. However, Kantian ethics has also been subject to various criticisms in the legal context. Some argue that Kant's principles are too rigid or inflexible, and that they fail to account for the complexity and nuance of real-world legal situations. Others argue that Kant's emphasis on moral principle over personal interest can lead to a kind of moral absolutism, where lawyers prioritize their own moral principles over the needs and interests of their clients. Despite these criticisms, Kantian ethics remains a powerful framework for guiding our decision-making as lawyers. By considering the implications of our actions and prioritizing our duties over the potential consequences, we can ensure that we're acting with integrity and moral principle. Many legal professionals have found Kantian ethics to be a valuable framework for guiding their practice. One lawyer might prioritize their duty to provide high-quality legal representation over the potential consequences of taking on a difficult case. Another might use Kant's principles to navigate complex ethical dilemmas, such as deciding whether to report a client's wrongdoing or prioritize their own self-interest. By applying Kantian ethics in their practice, lawyers can build trust with their clients and the wider community because they're seen as committed to acting with integrity and moral principle. In conclusion, Immanuel Kant's ethical framework has much to offer legal professionals. By prioritizing our duties over the potential consequences and considering the universal implications of our actions, we can ensure that we're acting with integrity and moral principle. Kant's principles can guide our decision-making in complex situations, help us to navigate ethical dilemmas, and promote a more just and equitable society. As lawyers, we have a critical role to play in promoting justice and fairness. By embracing Kantian ethics, we can ensure that we're acting with integrity and moral principle, and contributing to a more just and equitable society. Remember, ethical principles are essential to our practice as lawyers. By reflecting on Kant's ideas and considering how they can inform our decision-making, we can become more effective, more principled, and more committed to justice and fairness. What do you think? How do you apply Kantian ethics in your practice as a lawyer? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on legal ethics and philosophy. Thanks for watching.